Yes, guys, how you doing? Welcome back to a dual stream today. We're on Football Inc. and we're on Spurs Talk Show. We're trying to get everybody on board this PSR story. We've got lots to talk about with regards to that. The anchoring, the bias that's popping out from the media. I mean, they couldn't help but show their colours, who they're favouring and what they really want to see happen here. It's quite an interesting one, though. We'll talk about that. We've got the Premier League predicciones, and we have all your latest transfer news, views, and clues in this sharp hour for you guys. Make sure you do smash the like button if you enjoy the video, the stream. Hit the subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell and drop your comments, obviously, thick and fast. Also, guys, if you are watching this on Spurs Talk Show, please make sure you get across to Football Inc. The link is in the description. I'll be plugging it throughout. And make sure you get over there and smash the subscribe to Johnny and I's venture. If you haven't already, we're on our march to 6K. And if you are interested also in watching this stuff back later on, if you prefer to watch them later on in a different format, like podcast formats, then you can watch it on Spotify. You can listen to it on Apple Pods and Amazon and all that stuff. Links in the description. Johnny, how you doing, my man? Good to see you.
All good, all good. I'm holding out despite on a 4G. I feel like I'm in 19... the 2000 bandwidth at the moment, but I'm hanging on, waiting for BT to come and fix the line that they sent someone out to cut. Cut a few roads of internet out. But I'm streaming okay. The Prem is back. That's all that's important. And thank God for that, because 2 weeks of nothing. Don't know how we're going to cope next year, Sean, because it's going to be 2 international breaks of 3 weeks. We really will be climbing the walls. And for us content creators, we're going to have to get very creative to produce content when there's no football for 3 weeks. Well, that we care about anyway.
Yeah.
But, I'm sure there'll be something. And there's plenty this weekend. And as you say, the PSR is back. And there was the meeting last night, the fan forum, which is we're getting a little bit of information leaking out now. I haven't read it all, but bits and pieces. So where should we start? Where do you want to start?
Do you want to start with that? I haven't seen any information on it. Obviously, I've seen it. I heard it happened. I saw some quotes from Chris Cowlin, the no dickheads policy and all those things, but I haven't seen too much else in the way of anything that's noteworthy. If you've got something, let's talk about Tottenham, Phil. Should we start with?
Yeah, you can. The no dickhead policy. I love that pitch, and then the picture of Thomas Frank walking down the path with Daniel Levy.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, there's talk. Vinay saying that the Romero contract extension was the best deal in world football in the summer.
What,
I think it was one of the best. Signing him up.
Oh,
signing him up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think for Spurs, it's probably the best deal. I definitely think it was the best deal Spurs could have hoped for, especially when we heard all the rumours that if Ange leaves, he's leaving. He can't live without Ange. And basically, I've never seen the guy happier. He's now captain, obviously, of Argentina. How much do you think he would have cost in the open market now? The captain of Argentina, should we try to bought him now? We paid about 40 million, 45 million euros.
It's difficult to know, isn't it? Because, it always depends on the nuance, right? Like his age, is he 28 now? So that's obviously a bit of a limiting factor given just the way that the market's gone. But it would have depended, obviously, where he was playing, how happy he was, how much time he had on his contract, and whether or not that particular club had the need for money that you could lean into. But just if everything else being equal, I think that, I don't know, probably like 55 million, 60 million. I think he'd be about the same sort of price as what a full price Mark Gahey would have been, but Mark Gahey probably has a few million more because of the English home, the home tax, English tax thing. I reckon about 60 million, probably something like that.
I would have gone a bit higher. I would have probably gone 70, 75, depending on how long he had on his contract. Obviously, that would have made a big difference. But for me, he looks like a different player now. playing in a more defensive system, a system that suits both him and Micky van der Ven. And I think we'll start to see a better version. Not to say that he won't have his odd shitty game. All players have that. But I think this system suits him. And for us, it was imperative. I mean, imagine if he had a left, Sean. Danso and Micky van der Ven, would it have the same steel to it? I don't think so, personally. Maybe for the odd game, but I think, I think this is a major signing for him. Another thing to come out of the meeting, Thomas Frank was asked how he presented himself at the interview for the Tottenham job and what he did to convince the club to hire him. He replied, "I'm the shit."
Very nice. Very good.
Very good, huh?
Bit spicy. Bit spicy thing to say on a fan forum.
I'm the shit. I'm the man. I'm the shit. But listen, I mean, look, I'm sure more and more will come out as the day goes on. Obviously, only a select few made it, and a select few interviews. It was interesting to see that they were all on the front row. Ho, Frank, the usual crew. But the Don was sat in the front row, not on the stage. Not sure what that was. Maybe they ran out of chairs. Or they didn't want him to be asked any questions about him being banged up abroad. So left that one out. But look, I think most Spurs fans, in comparison to how the communication was between the club and the fan base to what it is now. Before it was more like North Korea, and now we've got engagement, we got liaison. Let's hope it continues and it's not, throwing us a few crumbs now. But I think we can be impressed with what's gone on initially. It's the honeymoon period. It's the honeymoon period, right? I mean, how long does the honeymoon last? A year?
It all depends, mate, doesn't it? Like, we haven't had any hiccups yet. Let's be honest, right? The season has started above most people's expectations. I don't think I knew anybody in the Tottenham fan base that thought we'd be sitting third in the league, one defeat, undefeated in Europe, and having some of the talent that we've got and some of them that are hopefully going to come back soon or just get back to full fitness. Like, it's all good. It's easy being positive when everything's positive. What happens when... Hang on a second. Someone's driving up the wall downstairs. Can you the dog walker's so noisy. One sec.
This is very professional. You can see, we often have this on Sky Sports where the presenter suddenly exits stage left. Presenter exits stage left. Hang on.
I can hear this cackling. I can hear this cackling downstairs, and the dog. I know the dog's about to start barking, so I thought I'd go and edit. I'll get rid of it. I'll cut it out. Look, Johnny, just quickly. I feel like. Everything's positive.
It's funny.
Everything's positive, but that's because everything's positive. When things start to go tits up, right, and they will. Then what happens, right? If they're waiting.
They're waiting. They're waiting. There's a crowd of people. There's a crowd of people who are just waiting. That a lot of them very much Big Ange fans who are waiting for something to go wrong because they've been very quiet. They've been waiting, itching, and it hasn't happened yet, but they'll be waiting. And this is the time of the year, let's be honest, where, Ange's first 10 games, he was unbeaten at the beginning of his tenure. The funny thing is we always seem to play Chelsea at the beginning of November. I don't know what it is. That's when the shit normally hits the fan. So let's hope we can keep going until then. Do you
think there'll be a fan engagement forum, whatever they're calling this thing? If the next one's planned for, I don't know, December the 15th, and there's been 5 losses on the bounce following a spate of injuries and some drama. Will those things materialize? I remember that Daniel Levy never did these things, but he did do these things when we were 8 wins out of 10 under Ange's first 10 games, right? So I just wonder whether it's like opportune moments to do opportune things, you know?
I think the tifo was a sign of intent. You know, that really good tifo at the beginning of the season that we saw, something different. It would be great to see more fan engagement, how we can improve the atmosphere in the stadium and the Spurs stadium. You know, go to a lot of away games, and you know, Leeds was a good atmosphere. Forest is a good atmosphere. Dare I say, even Arsenal as atmosphere is better. Spurs atmosphere needs a lot to be worked on, and you know, that's something that needs to be addressed, because Fortress White Hart Lane, it certainly ain't. It definitely isn't. You know, you look at a lot of the clubs you go to. I'm sure, you know, Everton at the moment, their new stadium. Don't think they've been beaten yet in the new stadium. Obviously creating a bit of a fortress there. The Tottenham Stadium has never been really a fortress. I think we've won a handful of games. I think we've won 3 home games in the last 17 at home, which is outrageous. You know, it's terrible. And the game on the weekend against Aston Villa is a chance to address that. And, you know, at least, you know, if we manage to beat Villa, at least that's, you know, 2 wins out of 4 at home, which doesn't sound so bad. Doesn't sound so bad. It's not great, though. It needs to be improved. I mean, all clubs, if you want to stay, you know, especially the clubs newly promoted, it's very important that their home form is where they manage to get the results, because going on the road can be very, very difficult. But we seem to be the opposite,
Johnny. You know, if you're a team that's good at home, and let's say you're a top 4 candidate, and of the 18 or the 19 games that you play, let's say that you can find a way to get 13 or 14 wins, a couple of defeats and a couple of draws. It's really strong. But if your away form is really weak and patchy, and you can turn up one week and you can beat the bottom teams, but you never get a result against the top 4, the top 6, or whatever else away from home, that's the difficult bit to resolve, right? Like, how do you get from where you are to where you want to be? Well, you need to fix your away form, which is the harder thing to do. Whereas Tottenham seem to be making lighter work of the more difficult thing. So, like, if and I don't know what the solution is to the home form. Like, I agree with you. We spoke about this last night on Spurs 5. I think we spent quite a long time talking about, like, the atmosphere. That's a part of it, but I think the players also, if the players can do it in tumultuous atmospheres, i.e. away from home, then like they shouldn't rely on atmosphere to be able to up their game at home. So I don't really know. Like, obviously, everything helps, every little helps, but like the easier thing to solve for would be a home form dip rather than an away form dip.
Yeah, move the fans. Look, when we go to away games, I sit in some horrendous places, you know, stuck up in the gods, right in the corner where you can't hear us, you know. And at Spurs, the away fans have got a lovely pitch in the corner, right by the flag, good atmosphere in the ground. They create a better atmosphere than we do. Well, you know, and I think, you know, a lot of clubs relish coming to Spurs and playing in a great fancy stadium. It seems they seem to elevate their game, where our players are running around going like this to the fans to try and get them fired up. It needs to be addressed because, as I said, you know, going to some of the games, Manchester City was pretty poor. Their home form, their home fans, the atmosphere wasn't great. I used to call it the empty ad. And you know, hasn't got a great atmosphere, but you know, you go to Liverpool, for example. I'm not saying we should be Liverpool, but the hairs on the back of your neck stand up, even if you're an opposing.
I'm not sure it does. I think that's a myth, mate. They're brilliant. They're brilliant. No, listen, they're brilliant when they sing their song, but as soon as their song is sung, they all sit down, and then they don't sing again until they're winning. Like, that they are the epitome of you only sing when we're winning. I don't know. They're not a 90-minute like raucous atmosphere, but you do get that at places like Nottingham Forest. Or when you go to Nottingham Forest, they have an unbelievable atmosphere. When we went to Luton, was pretty good. Like the smaller atmospheres have more hardcore fans, right? And so The only atmospheres that I think are, arguably really poorer than ours is like Fulham. Fulham isn't a great atmosphere. I don't think Chelsea's a great atmosphere.
Brighton, Seagulls.
Yeah, Brighton. Yeah. anyway, we can solve for Tottenham's home form another time because we're on the football wink. By the way, guys, if you're watching this on Spurs Talk Show, please make sure I'll get the link in a second, but please make sure you jump over to the football wink and smash the subscribe.
Sorry, shout out to Palace. Palace fans up
Palace
there, probably the best. Palace away is always a fantastic atmosphere. Small crowd, small ground, but raucous fans, brilliant fans, always are. 100%. Don't stop singing. Yeah.
Let me just quickly put that link in there, guys. We are trying to grow the channel, so if you're watching this on Spurs Talk Show, just make sure you also just hit that link and get over there and sub and spend some time over there as well. Let's move on to this FFP PSR anchoring thing, mate. I don't know if you've seen the kind of reaction, right? But so I read about this all last night and this morning. In a nutshell, for those of you that are unfamiliar with what anchoring is, as you know, there's currently 2 sets of rules that are in play for teams that are playing in Europe. You have the UEFA squad cost ratio rules, which this season limit your ability to spend to 70% of your club's revenue on the makeup of your squad, right? Wages, transfer fees and agents fees, that sort of stuff. At the same time, in the Premier League, you have to adhere to the current FFP rules, which is £105 million losses over 3-year rolling periods. They're different. The Premier League rules are stricter, but have weaker punishments. The USR rule, the squad cost ratio rules are probably easier to adhere to, but when you fall foul of them, the punishments seem to be a little bit stronger. But they don't affect teams that finish 8th and downwards. About a year and a half ago, the intention was to move to something similar to the UEFA rules in the Premier League, but it wasn't going to be 70% for everybody like it is in UEFA teams. It was going to be 85% threshold. So teams that were already in Europe wouldn't really be affected by it because they're already adhering to stricter rules in UEFA. Correct. They were also thinking about introducing this thing called anchoring. And anchoring essentially is something where whoever the bottom revenue generating team is in the Premier League, let's use Burnley as an example, and let's just say for argument's sake that they make £120 million a year. I think it's slightly more than that, but let's just say 120. Then essentially you 5 times that number. So in that case, you get 600 million quid. And then regardless of how much money your football club brings in revenue, you would still have to adhere to the 85% threshold for the Premier League or 70% if you're in Europe. But the anchoring rule, which would only ever really affect teams at the very, very top, would essentially mean that even if their 70% number is higher than 600 million, then because the anchoring rule is the lower of the 2 numbers, then a team like Manchester City, even if they brought in £1 billion of revenue, rather than being able to spend 700 million in this scenario, they'd be able to spend 600 million on their spend, right? So that you'd get rid of the 105 million quid. That was the plan. It got shelved because Manchester City sued the Premier League around the associated party transaction rules. And until that was figured out, they said there's no point in complicating anything anymore. Let's figure that shit out. That stuff apparently looks like it's figured out, although it really isn't. But in a nutshell, now in November, in a couple of weeks' time, the Premier League are going to get together and decide on that vote. The last time it came up, 16 teams voted in favour of it. 3 teams voted against it. 1 team abstained, and an abstention is the equivalent of a rejection because you have to get
Chelsea,
an approval.
wasn't it?
Chelsea abstained,
Chelsea,
and then it was Villa, City, and I think it was Forest that voted against. I think off the top of my head. But anyways, it wasn't put through in the end. It didn't go through because of all these other things. Now it looks like it's coming back, and they're going to put it to the vote again. Now, the way that it's being presented in the media, and this I'm talking about the likes of Simon Jordan, who's saying like PSR rules aren't fit for purpose. There should be less scrutiny because it doesn't work anyway. But the other things you've got all over the Mirror, the Sun, the Times, the Telegraph. They are all spinning this in the guise of protecting Manchester City, who would be the only team who would realistically come even close to being affected by this. And they're basically saying it's a disaster for the Premier League. It's horrendous. You're shooting yourselves in the foot. We're sleepwalking our way towards this disaster because for the most part, 17 teams are not going to be affected, so they don't really care. But for those teams that are affected, it's going to be a disaster because Erling Haaland's going to leave and Silva's going to leave and everybody's going to leave and go and play for bigger teams.
Everyone's leaving.
Everyone's leaving is according to the narrative, right? But the reality is that all of those teams in Europe, they might not have the anchoring rule, but the teams, this argument that Real Madrid are going to benefit and Bayern Munich and PSG and it's like the amount of money that broadcast revenue brings in, it's a disgraceful narrative, Johnny, because first of all, there's only 24 players that can play in those teams anyway. Second of all, they already have to adhere to their own 70% thresholds anyway. And thirdly, this narrative that people just chase the money. If that was the case, Erling Haaland would be playing in fucking Saudi Arabia, wouldn't he? Right? It's not all about that.
He'd be playing somewhere else. But the thing is, right, I think now, even finishing bottom guarantees you 100 million without selling a ticket. So really, realistically, I would say the minimum, the lowest income is probably around about 160 million. Would you not say?
Yeah, I think
minimum.
When Burnley were last in the Premier League, they had 135 million quid, something like that. Right? This is from the year before last when they were in.
Okay. And the money, the money's going up. So, but even finishing bottom of the league, you get 100 million. Probably. I mean, don't forget you get your parachutes as well. There's money coming in. I can't believe it's anything less than 100 and say it's 135 million. Okay. So what are you looking at? 600 odd million a year?
650 million would be in that scenario. 650 would be the multiplier.
Yeah.
Which
that's more than enough.
They'd have to have over $1 billion in revenue for that to be a problem. £1 billion in revenue.
It's not even. Yeah. It's a non-conversation. It's a non-conversation. It's like, let's have this and show that we're doing something about it. I think what most people should be worried about is this guy that they've who bought his way into the role as the government overseer for football. That should be more of a concern. A government that can't even run the country has now appointed himself a guy who's made donations to give himself the role as the head of football. That should be the big concern to football fans now, because God forbid they start meddling and telling us what we should be doing in football when they can't even tell us we should be doing with the country as a whole. So that for me is more of an issue. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's laughable. Go and look that up.
Corrupt from day one.
Ridiculous.
What are we doing here?
He's made two donations to the Labour Party, to Keir Starmer's and I've got the woman, the other woman, Namby Pamby, made a donation to the two, but it's got nothing to do with the reason why he's overtaken all of those with more credibility for the role than him to run football. Yeah, he likes football, so let's give him the role. Who is this? They're asking. What was his name again, Sean?
David Cogan.
There you go, David Cogan. Look it up. Yeah, it might as well be Steve Coogan.
Knowing me, football regulator, knowing you. Aha.
Knowing me, yes, knowing me, knowing you.
This anchoring thing, though, it's just, for me, I just feel like the media have exposed their bias because they're sitting there trying to make out like it's the end of Premier League competitiveness, when in reality, it's the lack of those rules that has made the game a scenario where the top three or four teams win everything. They got ahead of the rules, or they cheated anyway, allegedly, or they jumped through the loopholes of previously stupid rules that weren't worth the paper they're written on. And the bottom three teams that come up generally go down. It might be different this year, but generally speaking, that's the outcome. And so this narrative of like, it's destroying the Premier League. The Premier League is already fairly boring. If you can tighten the relationship between the haves and the have-nots, I mean, wouldn't it be awesome, Johnny? I'm not saying this from a perspective of a Tottenham fan, but just generally, wouldn't it be awesome if there was a higher probability? I'm not trying to curtail ambition, and I don't think that there shouldn't be any difference between the teams that have been successful and the teams that haven't, for example. I think there has to be an advantage to your successes. But wouldn't it be more fun if every year you went into the Premier League and you thought there's realistically 7 or 8 teams that might go down this year, and there's 7 or 8 teams that might win a trophy or that might get into that might be in a title race? Wouldn't that be the most fun way of playing football, where you don't know the outcomes? But right now, that's not the case, and that these guys are saying that any attempts to try to change that, all you're doing is handing over the value to Real Madrid, which is just an absolute fallacy in the logic.
Well, we last year was probably for me one of the worst Premier League races, top and bottom. Liverpool ran away with it. The bottom was predictable. We knew exactly who was going to go down. There was no, there was no jeopardy. It didn't seem like for weeks and weeks, months, in fact, before the end of the season. This season, what we've seen is Sunderland, Leeds, Burnley, all spending money and raising questions. And, we got the likes of Wolves, we got the likes of West Ham and Nottingham Forest at this moment. I know we're only 7 games in, but looking like they need to start finding some victories. Whereas the Sunderlands and the clubs we expected, Bournemouth, for example, selling all their top talent to all be struggling, haven't. So for me, that's exciting. That's the type of football I want. And we want it the same at the top. We want it the same at the bottom. We want jeopardy every week. Yeah, you want your club to win. Whoever you may support, you want your club to win. But you don't want to walk into the ground saying that's what creates a shit atmosphere. When you go to a ground knowing, well, it's a cakewalk. It's a cakewalk. There's nothing to be excited about. I only get excited. Yeah, because otherwise it's like, you want to go to that ground. I mean, we've said this before. One of the best atmospheres ever at Spurs was Spurs v Arsenal in the new stadium, when there was the double jeopardy of who's going to get the 4th place Champions League, or go into a game where it's on a knife edge. You don't know who could win the game. A lot of that went last.
6-pointer. If every game was a 6-pointer, right, and it was Tottenham against, or I don't know, it was Nottingham Forest against Bournemouth, and I mean, I don't even know if there's a. I'm not trying to rewrite the game here, but I don't even know if the points distribution is kind of the right way of going about it. But where you need to incentivize everybody having a victory either way, like a victory or a loss. Draws are boring and unhelpful. I think the game needs something. The Premier League needs something that can amplify the stakes a little bit. And to me, there's a lot of ways you can go about that, and you don't want to change too much too soon. But one of them, for sure, has to be the ability for more teams to see more success. It's a fact that in the last 25 years, 92% or 91% of all trophies have gone to 5 teams. And then of the rest, of the other 8 or 9%, 2 teams have won 2 trophies. And this is domestic trophies, by the way. And then there's 7 teams that have won 1. And most of those teams aren't even in the Premier League anymore. Some of them are in League One. There's no distribution of success. There's very little jeopardy of relegation. And yet the media are spinning this idea of tightening the rules, Johnny, as they're comparing it to the NFL, saying the reason why NFL salary caps work is because there's no other leagues to compete. The fact that that's not the case in football means you should leave it as it is. Allow the teams that have always had the unbelievable, obscene access to resources to continue to thrive. And by the way, those guys are also, as we've spoken about, obviously we don't know the results yet, but these guys are not just using their resources and trying to close the door after the horse bolted, but on top of that, they jump through loopholes, and a lot of people are saying they've cheated more times than they haven't. So we have to find ways to make this stuff less obvious, less frequent, and allow smaller teams a bigger slice of the opportunity pie, in my opinion.
Philip Randall in the chat there says, saying, Johnny, you're sounding like the Premier League was more even in years gone by. This was never the case. You're probably right, Philip. But, we don't want, the whole point of balancing the thing that, you know, in the American football, the draft is all about balancing transfers so that the richest clubs don't buy all the best players. They trade them off. And they're trying to bring equality to the Premier League. So look, if all barriers were taken down, come January, Newcastle would go and spend and buy every single player they could buy. Manchester City would do it. Chelsea would do it. And we wouldn't have a better league. It wouldn't be a better league. People think that.
Oh, is he coming back? Oh, he's frozen for a minute. He's frozen for a minute. We'll bring him back in as soon as he gets back in. Yeah, look, I mean, I don't know. Like, I feel very, very strongly about this. I have done for a long time. If you've watched any of my content on any of the channels I'm on, you know, it's not like, and I get a hell of a lot of like comments from Newcastle fans and City fans who think I'm just going after them. It's not. I don't care. I wouldn't care who the club was. I would encourage it even if it was Tottenham that were benefiting from these things. I want to see jeopardy. I want to see competition, and I want every weekend to be awesome. Sorry, Johnny, you completely froze there, mate.
That's all right. It's fine. I mean, listen, first, but in US football there is no relegation. 100% there's no relegation. I get that, but you know, do you want to see competitive football, or do you want to see domination in football? Yeah, we've had periods where Liverpool dominated, then Man United dominated, we've now Man City, we've had Arsenal, but we want to see like in the middle. We don't want to see like 2 or 3 teams just go away and, you know, the bottom is always the same 3 relegated every single season. Those that come up go down. Right. I don't particularly want to see that. I know some people aren't bothered. Yeah, for those who about my internet is nothing to do with me. I actually have a very good internet. Unfortunately, BT sent some Romanian subcontractors out to do some basic work, and they cut the main line for the entire street. So I'm on a very basic setup from about the year 2000. But listen, we'll have to watch how things progress. Couple of weeks' time, I'm just praying that we don't get any of the government interference, because if that starts, there's going to be. If they think they've got troubles now, wait till that comes about. It's definitely not. Do you want to do some of the super chats, Sean?
Yeah, we'll do it. One second. Let's have a look just quickly. Just got to get something up here. Where's that gone? Here we go. Let's do the super chats and we shall find out how everyone's doing. Spurs Graham, member for 24 months. I think this is a Spurs Talk Show one. Thank you so much, Graham. Appreciate you very much, mate. Smash the likes and subs, folks. Guys, if you are on, let me put the link in again. I think I just did it a minute ago. If you are on Spurs Talk Show watching this, please do just find the time to just click that link and make sure you go over there and sub to Football Link as well. Appreciate you. Houdini, Super Houdini. He's in with his super sticker train. Super chew to you. Thank you very much, Dino. I hope you're okay, my man. Are you going tomorrow? Dean? We can try and catch up. Let me know. Message me on Twitter. Sunday. Oh, Sunday. Sorry. I'll see you in the 8 bar. Spurs OC, Orange County, my man. Big up to you. Thank God the international nonsense is over.
Thank God.
It's definitely nonsense, isn't it? Hello. Absolutely fantastic, man. Thank you very much for the super sticker. We're going to get into the Premier League fixtures in just a moment. We've got to do a couple of transfer news and clues as well. Spurs, Super Spurs TV member for 4 months. Big up to you, Blano. Absolute legend, mate. Legend of the football community. Simple message today, lads. See you Sunday. Come on, you Spurs, mate. We are going out Sunday night, mate. Book off Monday. You and I are going gambling. And he's also gifted 5 Football Inc. memberships to the members of the Football Inc. community. Big up to you, Blaine. Absolute legend, my man. I hope you're doing well. Thanks so much, buddy. Let me text me as well later on, mate. Let me know what time you arrive on. You arriving on Saturday or Sunday? Let me know, buddy, and we'll hook up, bub. We'll hook up. Johnny boy. Sorry.
Just to say before that, if you are a recipient of one of Blaine's very generous memberships, please send him a thank you, guys. That's the least you can do. So when you see it, please send him a message. Thanks a lot. And thanks, Blaine, for your generosity. Go on, Sean. Sorry, mate.
Let me Let's talk a little bit about
Entertainment.
transfer news, views, and clues, shall we, my man? Right now in the Premier League today, this morning, we've got a new contract offer for Sven Botman. Apparently, rumours are going around. It's not necessarily confirmed yet, but rumours are out there that maybe. Do you think you mentioned Sven Botman the other day? Maybe being a Liverpool target. Do you think Newcastle are going? Can't lose any more. Can't lose any more players to Liverpool. We have to get this guy tied in. What's your thoughts, mate? Oh, can you hear me, Johnny? Johnny boy?
Well, I suggested that Liverpool were after him. Yeah, I can. Liverpool are desperate, mate.
You want a massive delay, Johnny? You want a massive delay? Let me kick you back out. Let me kick him out. Johnny, come back in. If you can see this, come back into the show. Johnny's he's a mad one with that delay. Absolute mad one. See what we'll do, whilst we're there, we'll just do a super chat from Finn McMullen. He says, Dragiston is back soon. Hopefully he can teach Micky how to be dominant in the air. I think Micky's been all right in the air this season. I think he's improved. I was curious in the summer whether or not under Thomas Frank not having the requirement to be spreading his legs, pause, quite as much was going to be like an expose of his weaknesses by being in a deeper line. But I actually think Ricky van der Ven's been fantastic. And I'll tell you one area of his game that I think people are not sleeping on, but I don't think he gets the credit for it, is his ability to run with the ball. He's like a different option. Romero, you give the ball, when Polina wins the ball back, you hand the ball to Romero if you want to, and you've got one of I think, the best Premier League passing centre-back. If you look left, though, you can ship it off to Micky van der Ven, and if he gets past his first man and he runs with those lanky strides, then you know that there's good things coming, because that ultimately just opens the play up, especially against the press. So for me, yeah, look, there's always rooms to improve. My man Finn, always room to improve. But I think that Micky van der Ven has really surprised me with having a little bit more typically defensive stuff to do, rather than just sort of like get us out of jail, free card, Hail Mary type stuff. And I think he's upped his game. So I love his tackling as well. He's very aggressive with his pace and his sliding tackles. So there's a lot to like there, mate. Appreciate you, Blaine. I'll come back to that. Let's see if Johnny comes back in. He's not back yet. Let's go back to this story. So the Premier League transfer. So we got Sven Botman getting a new contract. That is, it makes sense to me. Makes a lot of sense to me to see Sven Botman. If I'm Liverpool, I don't want to see him going to Liverpool after what happened in the summer with all of their kind of sort of, what would you call it? Gazumping, little broing, whatever. Anyway, next story for you. Victor Frohold, a player that, listen, I don't admit it's all about Tottenham today, but a player that Tottenham were very much linked with. Well, he's now linked with Manchester United. This was a player that was in Denmark. I think it was in Copenhagen last season. And I was saying to you guys, we were linked with him, and I was like, this is a really good player. I really like him. I really, really do like him. He looks a lot like Berghvall. He plays quite a lot like Berghvall, but he leans a little bit more defensive than as a sort of aggressive midfielder going forward. So he's sort of like Berghvall templates, is just with a defensive slight. He ended up going to Porto, and Porto are just doing what Porto do. You know, they'll buy players, 19, 18 years old, give them a year, give them half a season or two, whatever, and then someone else is going to come in once they've proven their worth. I think sometimes in football, it's just a case of you can look at a player and rate them in a certain league, but think it's the jump is too stiff. The jump is too big to take them from, say, I don't know, the Belgium league to the Premier League. So they have to go somewhere else first to prove themselves. And you know, Porto, he's done very, very, very well in his few moments there. I do like Frohold, though. I can see massive escalations in his value in a couple of. He'll be someone we're talking about in a big way in a couple of years. Manchester United being the link at the moment. Weird story out regarding Florian Wirtz. According to a report from Real Madrid-centric outlet Defensa Central, manager Xabi Alonso has requested that the club pay close attention to the future of 22-year-old German international Florian Wirtz at Liverpool. Alonso, who previously managed him at Leverkusen, reportedly has a strong desire to bring the playmaker to Madrid. The manager had previously been interested in the union in 2025. Wirtz joined Liverpool for £100 million and has registered just one assist. I can't believe that one. But listen, Defensa Central are connected to Real Madrid's club, right? So when they talk, you sort of, oh, he's in the background. Yeah, he's come back. Sorry, Johnny, I was, can't see your face though. What's going on with Johnny boy? What is going on with Johnny? There he is. He's back now. You all right, Johnny?
I've got a guy holding two wires.
Jesus Christ.
I've got a guy holding two bits of wire together outside, I reckon. I mean, what is going on? What is going on? 20. Yeah. This is
Johnny, we're just talking about...
I'm getting some weird lock-up faces as well.
Yeah, I think you might be on another delay. I'll tell you what we were talking about. We were just talking about this story of Florian Wirtz. Apparently, Xabi Alonso is looking at bringing Florian Wirtz if his time in Liverpool continues to be a disappointment. I mean, I think it's a lazy story massively, but it's coming from Defensa Central, who are a fairly connected club to outlet to Real Madrid. But again, Florian Wirtz plays in the 10, even if there was an iota of truth in it that if he doesn't work out, Liverpool will cash in and go to Real Madrid. What does that mean for players like Arda Güler, who are already doing bits in the Real Madrid 10 spot? And also, what does it mean for Nico Paz, who, of course, was going to leave Como in the summer until Real Madrid said, don't go, we want you back here, who also plays in the 10, Johnny. And you got Bellingham that's also going to be back soon. What are we talking about there, mate? What are we doing?
Look, it's lazy journalism just to fill bars. As if Liverpool are going to admit already that they've made a huge mistake. They're not going to do it.
Oh, do you know what? Johnny, mate, I can't hear a word you're saying.
And Florian Wirtz. But let's be serious, right? I keep stressing how important it is pre-season training, pre-season fitness. Right? Pre-season is... Can you hear me now?
Johnny, mate, I don't know if this is going to work, bud. I don't think this is going to work. I don't know
what's happened. I don't know.
Do you want to log out and then try and come back in again, mate? And I'll carry on without you, okay? Try and come back in, mate. This is what we do here. This is what we do. Oh, sorry, guys. Sorry about this. Johnny's got to get his got to get his hamster wheel working. And yeah, look, for me, like I say, I don't see it happening. There's no chance it's going to happen. But even without the Florian Wirtz story, there's still problems with Real Madrid in terms of how they're keeping everybody happy. We've seen all week. We've seen for the last couple of weeks, Arda Güler, apparently, I think he's played 7 games for them this season in all comps. I think he scored, 3 goals and 2 assists, or 4 and 3? I'm not sure, but he's had a great output. 20 years old, highly rated Turkish kid. Was brought over a couple of years ago. So many links to him coming to the Premier League, and I'm thinking, why? But then you've got Nico Paz, the player at Como, who I said already, was basically said, you don't leave Como, we want you back here, because obviously he was basically sent on like a indefinite loan where there's like a buyback, ridiculously cheap buyback figure whenever they need him. But Arda Güler is not going to be happy if he has to fit. Then you've got Jude Bellingham as well that's coming back, and he's going to want his minutes. I think someone else made said someone else in there as well. And yeah, Mastantuono. There's like, it's a crazy kind of, like, they've got so much talent. And this again goes back to that narrative of the PSR FFP thing. You can only have 24, 25 players in your squad. So this narrative that we should like protect Manchester City's ability to just grow their obscene revenues through a lot of their alleged misdeeds, and misdemeanors, protect them for the sanctity of the Premier League. Fuck that. It's ridiculous. It's such a stupid narrative. I can't believe that the media are showing their cards so obviously. Super chat from Finn McMullen. Big up to you, mate. Thoughts on Yildiz, Lookman, and other Serie A talents with the Don's links to his homeland come this January window? I put out a tweet, Finn, saying that these are my left-wing targets. I think I said in this order, but I didn't really mean it in that order. It was any particular order. So I rate them all. Obviously, you've got to want Semenyo if you can get it. Although I was under the impression, I put a video out about this a couple of days ago. I was under the impression when the release clause was announced that it was accessible from January. But I'm hearing today that that's not the case, that it's only accessible in the summer, and that by then, obviously, it makes it incredibly less likely that Tottenham will be able to compete, because in the summer window, teams like Arsenal will have had the ability to move on players like Martinelli or Trossard. Liverpool will have figured out what they need to do at the back end to be able to shore themselves up, and also maybe in the DM role, and then they'll probably be able to go again on the left wing spot if they wanted to. And obviously, there's a whole different realm of reality that we'll have to figure out. But in January, I still think that in January, the only time you can get Semenyo, if you're a Tottenham fan, really, is to go before anybody else can really make a move. And that would be early in January if you could get it done. But if the release clause isn't viable until the summer, then you're just going to have to pay big money. And that's going to take, I would say, like 90 million quid, which isn't necessarily something that we should just completely dismiss them, because, if we're trying to compete with the top, if that's what the kind of new owner narrative is being banded around, then we're going to have to do that. In other news, though, Keenan Yildiz for me, Finn, cracking player. I'd absolutely love him, and he is obviously Paratici's from Paratici's boy. Oh, there we go. He looks much better now, Johnny. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Johnny? Still can't hear me. For fuck's sake. We'll see if he catches up. I'm going to finish my point anyway. So you got Keenan Yildiz. Look, Paratici, but Juve.
Someone sent me this. I don't know what this is, but I've been sent this by B. Yes. Okay.
You're like 15 seconds behind, Johnny, on the chat, on the thing. This is painful, Johnny. Really painful, mate. Yeah. I'll finish the point quickly. So Yildiz, would be obviously a really good one. I love him. But obviously you've got Paratici with the connection. You do have the connection there, the connection that Johnny doesn't have to his Wi-Fi right now. Maybe there's a chance there. Ademola Lookman, Atalanta. Paratici has relationships with Atalantans as well, so hopefully we can get something going with him. I know most people sort of not quite as sold on him. I rate Lookman so much. I think he would be excellent in the Premier League. He's got such great output, such great tenacity. He does remind me of a Mohamed Kudus. Although I had that chat with that Jacko fella, he's like, he doesn't really see he doesn't think that they're similar players. But I tend to disagree. I think you've got two outlets, two players that want to take players on. The big difference between Lookman and Kudus is Kudus is Prem proven. Lookman is Prem experienced, but not Prem proven. But Lookman has output. Lookman scored 20. I think he got 25, 26 GA last year. Outside of that, you can still pivot and go towards a few other players, Finn. You can still, for me, I would be taking a look at Iliman Ndiaye, the Everton winger. I think he's quality, right foot, left foot. He's got output, really good baller. I'd be looking at Malik Fofana. I did a video on Malik Fofana at Lyon. He is that club is financially screwed. They've got into bed with the wrong guy in John Textor. He owes $80 million a year in interest payments alone. And if he continues to default on those payments, Aris Capital will end up taking over will end up taking over Lyon, and then eventually Malik Fofana will definitely be sold 100%. So maybe you could take advantage of that one. I'd love him. And after that, there's players like Antonio Nusa as well. Antonio Nusa was a really good player back in the day when he was playing in Bruges. I wanted him. I loved him. Tottenham were linked, but also Brentford were linked. He was going to go to Brentford. Thomas Frank wanted him at Brentford, but then he failed a medical, ended up going to RB Leipzig, and he's done very well in RB Leipzig at the step up. So, I wouldn't be surprised to not see some links there. Johnny, are you caught up with me, mate? I'm doing this test by if I ask you a question, how long is it going to take for you to respond? I feel like he's on the moon somewhere. Are we doing 10 seconds? 12? Yeah, no, Johnny.
Man, I can hear you. I can hear you. I can hear you clearly.
Give me your takes then, Johnny, on the left wing spot, mate. I'll shut up and let you talk, and then you talk as much as you can. Oh, for God's sake! This is painful. This is super painful. You know what? I don't know if there's any point in bringing him back in. I mean, when he comes back in, I'll give him another chance. But this is just absolutely shocking. I agree with him as well, Daniel. What's Piss for Eyes saying? You should do a show on 777 Partners. They went bust. The owner is now being done for fraud. 100%. 777 Partners, horrendous. They were robbing Peter to pay Paul. They were literally taking money from one football club or one business and sending it over via dodgy loans with zero interest rates to make that revenue of the other football club or the other business look better. And then as soon as the auditing eyes that were on that particular entity were moved somewhere else, they'd move the money back across. It was like businesses built on absolute BS. There was no money and they went bust in the end. And they took down a lot of really apparently good businesses with them. So yeah, 777. I think I've done a video on it a couple of years ago, to be honest, mate. But I'll do another one because it's a problem. It's a massive problem. Ares Capital are going to end up being, in my opinion, the owner of Molenbeek and Lyon and possibly Botafogo as well. Crystal Palace fans want to count themselves lucky that John Textor sold when he did, and it's crazy. Did we do the predictions this week? We haven't done the predictions, but I'd love to do it. I'd love to do it with you, but Johnny isn't around right now. We're not going to get it out of him. I'll tell you what, we'll do the predictions next time, guys. Do you know what, lads? I think it's probably better to leave it there. I'm going to see if Johnny can figure it out, and we'll come back and do another show this evening. I apologise for the horrendous technical glitches. These things happen. We'll blame the BT engineers, and we'll move from there. But yeah, look, I'll just finish up last 5 minutes because you're a Tottenham show as well. I'll talk about Aston Villa. For me, guys, I'm looking forward to a great game on Sunday. I think this will be a real litmus test for Tottenham. The midfield battle is where the game is won and lost. We need to pick Polinia. We need to have Bentancur in there because the physicality of the likes of John McGinn and Morgan Rogers, if he's going to be playing in the 10, and players like sort of Boubacar Kamara. Bogard will be in there as well, probably that young guy. Bogard might have to be sold in the summer because of the PSR issues that Aston Villa. If Aston Villa don't qualify for the Champions League this season, if they don't, they are going to have another clear out because they've got themselves into a pickle with their finances. Again, ambition is great, but if it's stretched or saturated, then it can be problematic. Ollie Watkins apparently is still a doubt, but they do of course have that wonderful player Daniel Marlon in the team that is a problem. Got Buendia as well, that's probably back as well. So it's a tough game, be a very physical game. I expect a little bit of fireworks with Matty Cash playing at right back. God, can I have to see something nasty happen to him? I'm not hoping for it, but I just expect there to be some sort of fireworks and unresolved differences, whether Bentancur wants to get stuck in, whether or not Romero is going to pay a little bit of grit and determination back in that regard. Let's try Johnny one last time, and if not, we'll round it off. Johnny, how you doing, mate?
I'm fine. Am I fine though?
Yeah, you're okay now. You're okay. You're good. Yeah, you're good. Well done.
I mean, honestly, I've never experienced anything like it. I've just been given a little tiny hub, which I'm going to try and set up. It's an emergency hub. But should we do the score predictions?
Yeah, let's do the score predictions then. Okay. Start the score predictions for the weekend.
Who's gonna win this weekend? Gotta predict the scores. Gotta be Nostradamus, picking wins, losses, and draws. Who's gonna win this weekend? Gotta predict the scores. Gotta be Nostradamus,
right, let's quickly update from the lot. We didn't get to do match week 7, but we finished on match week 6, and the scores on the doors were the chat had 41 points total. Johnny was relegated into 3rd spot with 38 points, but yours truly is miles in front with 52 points. A lot to catch up. For those of you who are new, don't know the rules, you pick the score prediction for the game, and if you get the right scoreline entirely, then you get 3 points. If you get the right result but not the right scoreline, you get 1 point. Anything else is a nil point. And at the end, you also get to pick one player of the week. We need a guest. Is there anyone of the members that are watching this who want to participate as the guest for the audience? Then you see Daniel Field. I think, have you already done one, Daniel Field? If you haven't, do you want to be the guy? Or Spurs OC, you're a member. Would you like to do the pickings for the audience? We need to find out. But let's start, Johnny. I'll get, before you drop out quickly. Maybe we should go first.
Yeah. So Forest Chelsea. I'm going to go. Chelsea are missing quite a few players. Chelsea. So I'm going to go for a very surprising Forest 2, Chelsea 1.
Forest 2, Chelsea 1. Ange gets his gets the monkey off his back.
It's a bit of a shocker. It's a bit of a shocker. They've got quite.
If you want to jump in and represent the team, the audience again, that'll be great, mate. Appreciate you. I actually can't believe that Johnny said that. He's given away. He's you know what he's doing? He's being controversial because it's the only way he can close the gap on the massive deficit that I've created against him. I'm going to take the easy option here, and I'm going to say Forest 1, Chelsea 2. They are without some players, but Forest are just absolutely shambolic, and this might be the last game for Ange. We shall see. Blaine has also gone for Forest 1, Chelsea 2. Next up is Sunderland versus Wolverhampton Wanderers. Johnny, what are we saying, my man?
Sunderland 2, Wolves 0. Sunderland really good at home. The Roker roar. Wolves struggling at the moment. They're only good. They're only good when they play Spurs. So I'm going to go 2-0 to Sunderland.
2-0 to Sunderland. Blaine is also going 2-0 to Sunderland. I'm going to go for a slightly less interesting game. 1-0 to Sunderland. We're all going for the home wins, though. Good luck there. Burnley versus Leeds. Bit of a sort of northwest derby here, mate.
Yeah. I thought Leeds played very well against us. Burnley are tough to win at home, tough to break down. I'm going to go 1-0 Leeds.
You're going 1-0 Leeds, are you? Sorry, Ryan. Sorry, mate. I know. Going after him. 1-0 Leeds, says Johnny. Away win. Interesting. A win. Interesting. I think you've got Blaine there going 1-1. Let us know in the chat your predictions as well, guys. I'm going for 2-2. Going for a Desmond score draw. Looking forward to that one. That'll be just a 6-pointer early in the season. Palace versus Bournemouth, mate. Two teams on good form. Palace finally got shaken up, finally lost their game, lost their undefeated game. Can they get back to winning ways? Is this the right game for them right now to do so? What are you saying, Johnny?
Two of the best young coaches, two of the best up-and-coming coaches in Premier League football right now. This is a tough one to call, both with fantastic tactics. Palace at home, the fans, I'm going to go 2-1 to Crystal Palace.
Okay. I think we got Blaney's gone. Palace 2, Bournemouth 2. Interesting scores. Palace 3. And El Dante thinks that the opposite's happened. 3-1. I'm actually going 3-1 to Palace as well. Palace at home are just a little bit too strong. What did you say you went for, mate? 2-1 to Palace you went for, didn't you, Johnny?
Palace, yeah.
Brighton versus Newcastle. Another cracking game.
I think Newcastle are too good. The Seagulls will try and crap on Newcastle when they arrive, but no. For me, Spurs dominated them, and I think Newcastle are quite, got a good setup now. Some of the players getting more, running in their legs. I'm going to go 2-1 Newcastle.
1-2 Newcastle, and Blaine went 1-3 Newcastle. I'm going for a reversal here. I'm going for 2-1 Brighton. I think it's a cracking game, and you know what I'm loving to see is the amount of different scorelines. No one can pick this one. Daniel's going 3-3. Dante's saying 2-0 to Newcastle. Nick's going. Listen, if Nikos is going for a Newcastle win, mate, you sure you don't want to change the scoreline? The best conspiracy theorist, the worst football predictor I've ever seen. Brighton 3-2 says Finn. Up to you. Yeah, interesting. Everyone's going for different scores. It's going to be a cracking game, cracking weekend of fixtures. Actually, next one, another interesting one. City Everton, Johnny.
If Everton at home, I expected them to do well, but can Jack Grealish play?
I don't know.
Interesting one. Without Rodri, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult. I'm going to go 3-1 Man City.
Okay, I'm going 3-0 Man City. City are on one. Haaland to score again. It's going to be too easy for them. Everton are good, but not. I don't think they're up to it. What's my man Blano saying here? 3-1 to Newcastle. To City as well. Fulham versus Arsenal. I'll take this one first. 0-2, 2-0 to Arsenal. Easy day at the office. I think Fulham have given Arsenal a couple of scares in recent years at Craven Cottage, but I still rate Marco Silva, but just Arsenal are on a different level. They've got a few injuries, but the depth that they have is just obscene. If it isn't working in the first half, they can change things up, and Fulham don't have the same option. So I'm going to go easy 2-0 to Arsenal.
3-1 for me to Arsenal. Fulham with some freak goal at some point.
Okie dokie. 3-0 to Blano. Write that one down. 3-0. 0-3 even. Oh, shit. All right, next up is Tottenham Villa. I've gone for 3-2. I think it's going to be a belter.
I've gone 3-1 Spurs.
Oh, I should say I went 3-2 Tottenham as well. You've gone 3-1. A lot of people, what are we saying here? Blaine's saying 3-1 as well. Big up to you, Blaino. Big up to you. Yeah, I mean, interesting game, next one. There's a lot of interesting games, isn't there? But Tottenham Villa is, it's going to be spicy, isn't it, Johnny?
It's going to be spicy, mate. Can't wait to see Cash and Romero clash. I'm sure Romero will try and find him. And I'm sure Bentancur has some payback on the cards, Sean, for Matty Cash.
Do you think he'll get one? Do we want that sort of thing happening? Do we want to see someone put one on him?
Want fire.
Yeah, we do, don't we?
We want fire. And Football Heritage TV, thanks very much. Villa's #1 fan show. Couldn't do it without Aston you. Heritage. He must be
Aston Heritage TV. We'll call it. Yeah.
Aston Heritage. He's going to be so conflicted, Sava, come Sunday at 2:00. He won't know where to go.
I want to find out, but before we let anyone know the context here, I want to know if Sava's okay with me calling him Savcliffe on. I won't give away the context, Sava. But thank you very much for the super chat, mate. That picture was so funny last night. Absolutely hilarious. Absolutely hilarious.
Emery.
Where did we get to? Liverpool versus Man United. Another monster game, buddy. Another monster. 4:30 on Sunday. What you saying?
Well, listen, look, let's be honest, right? With Manchester United, got a few players that weren't in training. I haven't heard the press conference yet from Amorim. It's always value. You would expect Liverpool, even without half their defence, their centre-back issues. We don't know about Konate. We don't know who's fit there to play at the back. Endo's out. Could we see someone like Robinson having to play if Konate's out and Gomez isn't playing? there's a chance there that Cunha and Mbeumo will be able to exploit that gap in the centre back. But I'm going to go for Liverpool to overcome Man United. United will raise their game. I'm going to go 3-1 Liverpool.
That's exactly the score I've gone for. I'm going to step it up and say that Salah is going to, the redemption arc on Mo Salah is going to start this weekend. He's going to get the winner. He's going to get the second and the third goal. And then everyone who's moved him out of their fantasy team because they've had enough of him taking up 15 million quid's worth of value and not delivering any output, they're gonna come to regret it. So what did Blaine say that one there? Blaine, you went for hang on, he's jumped ahead. Liverpool 2-0. And West Ham Brentford finally. What's Blaino gone for? West Ham 1, Brentford 2. Interesting. Another tough game, mate, at the bottom here. Well, it's not necessarily the bottom, but it might end up being a big 6 pointer between these two.
Crash. Listen, I think...
Clash, yeah. What are you saying?
Nuno, I think, will have them set up to defend and try to counter-attack with Bowen and Paqueta. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw.
Like that. I actually think I'm going to go for the same. 1-1 for the both of us. Right. The fun bit here is the player we have to pick. So again, the rules: if the player scores a goal, you get 3 points, and if the player has an assist that's credited to him, you get a point for each goal or assist that they get. Reminders of the players: you can't use the same player twice. I have already used Ekitike, Semenyo, Brennan Johnson, Gyökeres, Salah, and Jack Grealish. You, Johnny, have already used Phil Foden, Evan Nilsson, Mateta, João Pedro, Gyökeres, and Liam Delap. And the chat have used Salah, Richalison, Rice, Kudus, Grealish, Haaland. I think that's it. Who are you going for?
Right, so I'm going to go for Bukayo Saka.
You're going for Saka. Interesting. It's not a bad shout, mate. That's not a bad shout. I don't know if you caught all those names you couldn't use there, Blaino. Who are you picking for the chat to score goals?
Voltamade. He's put.
Oh, Voltamade.
Good choice.
He scored 3 goals, didn't he? I think I'm going to pick.
Choice. Well,
I think I'm going to go for. I haven't used Haaland yet, have I? No, I'm going to use Erling Haaland. I'm going to get it done.
And just guys, before we go, right? Before we go, as we all know, we've got our other teams, Sean.
Yes, we do. Teams. Oh yeah. Let's go. So
this is a big story.
It's a big game tomorrow, isn't it? Big game tomorrow.
Tomorrow and Saturday and Sunday, we've got 2 big games coming up.
It's that time once again. It's time to check in. We're going round the world to all our second teams.
Guys, huge games. We've got RB tomorrow. We've got RB Leipzig versus my club versus Hamburg, his club, Vuskovic. Big game tomorrow. That's the big game. And then I think this is on Sunday, we've got Elche, his club, versus my club, Athletic Club Bilbao. 2 massive games. So we'll definitely be reporting on those 2. The clash of the Titans. Leipzig doing much better than I thought they would be doing. And Hamburg offer that 5-0 win with Vuskovic having monster games. But Elche is the group chat's one of their favourite clubs, along with Cremonese. So we shall see. But they're 2 massive games. Do you fancy your chances? You're at home?
Mate, listen, it's 7th versus 8th in the league, buddy. I mean, Elche unfortunately lost when we had our week off. Elche they lost their undefeated title, as has everybody else though in the Spanish division, as has everybody I think now in the Premier League. But it shows you there's no such thing as impenetrable. Pause. But Elche is just above your club. My club is just above your club, and sitting on your shoulders. So yeah, mate, we're at home. I expect us to nick a cheeky 1-0 victory, and we're gonna get back into the Champions League spots. What a story!
Well, they're doing very well. They're doing very well indeed. And then if we go to the German league, it's the German league. Has he got the German league there?
Yeah.
RB Leipzig, who sold off Penda, who sold off Sesko and Xavi Simons, don't look like they've really suffered too much. I think they're third in the league as we sit, Sean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, third in the league behind. And that's the big game of the weekend in Germany. Bayern Munich versus Borussia Dortmund. Huge game in Germany. Let's see whether or not Harry Kane can maintain his incredible scoring record that he's started this season. Quite unbelievable. If he carries on like this, he'll walk the Ballon d'Or, I would have thought. But Hamburg need the win, Sean, right?
They do, mate. They do. Yeah, we're sitting there mid-table. But look, we're a new team, and I think we got promoted last year. So, like, we're doing all right, mate. We're doing all right. You know, we're hanging around like a bad fart. And you know, I think we've got some upsets on the cards. It'd be interesting to see. It's Leipzig. So, mate, both of our teams from Spain and Germany are taking on each other. It's a shame that we're at the game on Sunday, because we should really be doing a double watch along for these games, you know?
Well, we can do a watch along for tomorrow's one if you want.
Yeah,
I'm quite happy to do that.
We'll do Leipzig Hamburg tomorrow. We'll figure it out.
Leipzig. I think that would be a good one, mate. Definitely worth doing. Was there any news? I think there was a tiny bit of news. I know you've got to go. But Jordan Pickford signed a new contract. The one that's creating a lot of news is Endrick. I mean, the new sensation, the hottest kid in town, the one everyone was fighting for. He's gone to Real Madrid. He hasn't had 1 minute under the new manager. He's been linked to West Ham. That ain't going to happen. He's now being strongly linked to Manchester United. Do you see that happening? Do you see him leaving? I mean,
I don't think, like,
he's not playing any minutes, Sean. Surely he needs to go.
You know what? I was about to say I don't think it makes sense, but actually there has been in the last, like, this season and over the last 18 months, there seems to be a higher frequency of Brazilian young players actually sort of doing some good stuff in the Premier League. It doesn't feel like they have to go via other places first. You know, you look at Murillo, you could look at the guys that went to Forest from Botafogo, Cunha and Igor Jesus. You know, there's a lot of players now that, and even the guy at Chelsea that you think is going to be the best Brazilian player ever in the Premier League. There's a lot of players now that are just coming straight in and just hitting the ground running. So maybe Endrick would be something like that. He's obviously a top talent. He's not getting any minutes over there. Look, I'll be honest. Yeah, I'd be happy to see him over, and I think he would come to a decent team as well if he got the chance. I guess
not West Ham though. Just rule that out. Not West Ham. No, you don't go from Real Madrid. One player is definitely not leaving Real Madrid. According to him, is Arden Güler. He says, me and Mbappe, our skill sets were absolutely made for each other. We understand each other perfectly. It's so fluid. Sometimes before a game, we talk a little and decide what we'll do. Other times, just one look between us is enough to know which each other is going to do.
Yeah.
Top players.
When Jude Bellingham gets back, there's going to be a squabble for minutes. And then, as I said before, I think you're dropping in and out. You got that, Nico Paz, mate, was promised. I was told not to leave Como because they want him. So, like, does Arda Güler see his future realistically at Real Madrid? Probably, possibly. He's on top form, but I think his parents are a little bit pissed off with his the way he's been treated generally. So, we shall see how that one works out. But yeah, Arda Güler, there's a lot of links with him leaving. I'd be very surprised. Like, how do you let someone go who's been involved in 33% of your entire team's goal contribution so far this season? You're getting told about your hat. You're getting told about your hat.
Yeah, DJ, pull off your sticker off your hat. I refuse, right? I refuse. I refuse. I've gone right-wing hat mode.
Don't worry about other people, mate. You just focus on your own game. Your hat game is strong. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
Guys, I've got to go, Johnny. I'm sorry, mate. I've got to leave. So, listen, guys, please do smash the like, smash the subscribe. If you are watching this on Spurs Talk Show, then please do click that link and get over to Football Inc. as well and smash the subscribe over there. And if you are watching on Football Inc. and you haven't subscribed on Spurs Talk Show, then please also do that. But, Johnny, for me, mate, I've got to jump, buddy. So it's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from him. Hit the like, hit the subscribe button. Bye.